What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to our fourth in 4 weeks, Victory Monday here on
Let's
GG Sports
go.
Podcast. The Vikings coming off of what should have been a bigger win, but at the end of the day, still a win, 31-29 on the road in Lambeau. First division win of the year, 3-0 in the conference, 4-0 overall. After the game yesterday, it took me a little bit to decompress, take everything in that it just happened. Yes, you would love to finish that game better than we did. Typical Vikings making it close in the fourth quarter. But at the end of the day, 4-0 on top of the division. You got to be pretty thrilled with how this all went down. Jamie, you did not get a chance yesterday to join me on Bleacher Report and give your thoughts about this game. I know you have a lot of them. Take the floor here.
I guess first thing, am I blurry right now?
No, you're good, actually. You're good.
I'm good, actually. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So anybody in here, first I want to thanks everybody. Obviously, where I live got hit by big flood. North Carolina. I mean, if you look it up on Twitter or whatever, you'll probably see everything is about this flood or whatever. And then once we didn't have any service for a while, for like a day and a half to 2 days. And then I got the service back. And then we had a bunch of messages from everybody, a lot of you guys in here, which I really appreciated. You guys, checking in on me and all that good stuff. Something I wasn't really expecting. So I appreciate everybody for that. But that being said, we still don't have internet. We do have service. I'm using the hotspot on my phone to do this. So I might be blurry in and out here, but that's all good. I want to make sure we pop on today because now Wednesday, I go to London too. So we're going to have an interesting stretch of content coming up. So I want to make sure to get on here and, be able to have a show tonight. But yeah, outside of that, so that actually I did want to say, because that was the big thing, was I didn't know when we were going to get internet back. I didn't know we were going to get service back. I thought it was pretty positive I was going to miss this game in general. Luckily for us, we ended up not missing this. I was able to watch the whole Vikings game. I didn't make it to Bleacher Report with Casey. He had to go solo yesterday, but I did get to see it, and it was an interesting game to say the least. But let me go through some comments here. Angler right away before 5 o'clock, almost blew a 29-point lead. I came back with y'all blew the comeback. Yeah, it's crazy. The whole Packer thing, like almost, I don't know on Twitter and everybody saying, but the whole like Packers like trying to make fun of us for almost coming back on us is obviously an interesting take.
Right. Like, would you rather you almost lost or say you almost came back and won? I'll take the almost lost any day.
Yeah, I'm taking the almost lost all day. So, hey, it is what it is. We got the dub in Lambeau Field at like even more. So Gary, my guy in the building, GG bros, let's go. Oh yeah, again, everybody, we don't have any mail system. So as far as these hats go, I'm not going to be able to send any hats out for probably the next couple weeks. And I don't have a giveaway today just because I can't send it out anyways. So I'll keep y'all updated when all those things go back to normal for me, but keep going through here. My Black Al Bundy in the building. My guy, let's go. Bob Swede. We got George in the building. What up? Darren, Casey, and Jamie, what up? My guys that cheered in the first half. Second half needed a Xanax dispenser. We thought through adversity and got the win. At least we didn't have to worry about Will the Thrill. Yeah.
That's a big one. Big 33-yard field goal right there. Big kick.
Yeah, what's going on? You had a community. Hey, I appreciate you guys. I didn't even know. I think it must have been a wrap. How you guys even knew I was a part of all of that, because I was supposed to be on his show, which I was really pissed off that I missed. Because I was really excited to do the show with him. And then obviously, I had to kind of leave him completely hanging and didn't text him for like over a day later. But I appreciate you guys. Purple and Go for Days, my guy, Justin, let's go. Getting them dubs. Let's go. Mark Phil, hey, with the $4.99. Let's go, dude. I appreciate you, man. $4.99. Appreciate it. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. 4-0. 4-0. We got to be excited here. We're excited. Yep, Rap Show. I got you. Let's go. Yeah. Rap's off. FT Maddie in the building.
Oh, man.
Obviously, Rap's my guy, so he's watching out for sure. Anyways, yes. So to this game, I haven't been able to talk about it yet. Hey, Kinetic in the building. Let's go. JJ to JJ. Yeah, that's still an interesting topic. That's a topic that's probably going to be the topic of the year all throughout the season, is the whole JJ and Sam Darnold thing. Anyways, so this game, obviously, first half, 28 points, the most we've ever scored against the Packers in the first half of any game in franchise history. Just absolutely dominated them. Second half, obviously, the whether I play project, it was the tale of two halves, just like I have in the description, where the second half they were able to make a comeback, ended up to obviously 31-28 or 29. Obviously, I think any of us, we were really excited to just destroy them in Lambeau. I think all of us give it a day. It's like, all right, at the end of the day, we're 4-0. When we look back at the end of the season, that's just going to be a W. You're not going to care how you got that W, but it does suck knowing like we were going to come out of this game like, dude, nobody can fuck with the Vikings at all. And now there's like, as far as I still feel that way, honestly. I was still super impressed, and I'll get into a little bit the reason why I feel that way. But we still we still had a big game. And then, like I was going with, I guess like you're thinking like the media and everybody's going to be on our side. And then after that comeback, then you're like, everybody's going to be like, oh, look at, they almost
These
lost.
guys ain't legit.
But I would just say right away, like, that's not how it felt for me. Obviously, it was disappointing. And it's still, even in the second half, we still had multiple turnovers, and it wasn't even that good. I just felt like we didn't allow that comeback wasn't anything to do with like the Packers coming back on us. It was us shooting ourselves in the foot to some extent, which is a lot of bad luck, specifically starting with that the muffed punt. Obviously, as soon as we see a muffed punt, any Viking fan is going to be like, oh, no, come on. No, I mean, we're 28-0, but now there's 28-7. You're going into the halftime with any momentum. I do think also coming out of the halftime, I know KOC, and we were talking about this I was talking with this Casey. KOC like said that they weren't trying to be conservative. He never took his foot off the gas. It was just bad play calling, which I respect him saying that. But in my opinion, I do felt like there were some conservative plays. I do think the play calls defensively and offensively did change compared to the first half, just because we were in the lead, which I get to some extent. That happens. I just don't think you do that when it's 28-7, especially I think after they scored that touchdown at the end of the half. I think that was a point where it was like you need to come out there and change the momentum before you start trying to play these little games as far as being conservative, and then also trying to force a touchdown to Aaron Jones, which I absolutely respect our team for doing. And I respect Kevin O'Connell as a player's coach to do whatever he could to get Aaron Jones into the end zone. But that's where that interception came from. That also was, talking about bad luck, wasn't an interception. The booth reviewed, still shouldn't have been an interception. They ended up giving it to him. Also, we can talk about the that third and 1 or whatever that we ended up not getting. I don't know if that was to nail. I forgot who it was from.
The third and 1 was the run up the gut with Jones, and then the 4th and 1. Are you talking 4th and 1 on their like 3-yard line?
No, I'm talking about the bad ball placement. And then I think we ended up, was that that play?
And that's actually kind of a big deal. Sorry to interrupt you, but like,
no, you're good.
Because I mean, like you said, like Kevin O'Connell in his post-game presser said a couple things. The first one was he's like, he said it today too. He's like, I don't want people to think we took our foot off the gas. He's like, I just think they adjusted well and I didn't adjust back. And he, up front just said, I got to start with the blame here. So Again, I do think the play calling was questionable. He also did say, going forward on 4th down at the end, he said, I just want to show my guys how much I trust them and how much I believe that they can pick that yard up. Didn't happen. Probably didn't get a great spot. It is what it is there. But again, that's one thing we did want to see out of Kevin O'Connell was that, like, I respect him going forward on 4th down in that spot. And I respect the way that he did do that. Like the end around, I know people don't like it because it's an unconventional play call, but I really appreciate Kevin O'Connell being aggressive. But going back to the end of that first half and then the start of the third quarter, you do feel, and this is the reason why I think the defense got a little bit quote unquote conservative. I mean, yes, you're up big first off, but I do think that the offense unable to sustain drives, the defense was gassed. They kept having to go back out on the field after a short 3 and outs. I think that was a huge part of it. And I think the reason that the offense wasn't able to get things going, and I do think it was a little bit of Kevin O'Connell and his play calling, which we were terrible on 3rd and 4th and short yardage yesterday. Missed a ton of conversions that would have put the game away early. But one of the things that and this kind of goes back to the play you were talking about where we, didn't pick it up on 3rd down. And that's where you question it. Like, I think we had an Aaron Jones run that got us a 3rd and 1, and then you go to a drop back and throw over the middle of the field to Brandon Powell. And here's kind of the domino effect of all that. You had some bad play calling. Darnold makes an inaccurate throw, which causes Powell to get knocked around a little bit, has to leave the game, go to the medical tent. And then that's the reason why after that next 3-and-out from the Packers, why Jalen Naylor was out there returning punts anyway. So, and then obviously we saw what happened after that, the muff punt leading to everything else. So I do think when you look at what Kevin O'Connell did yesterday, and after we got up big, the play calling changed, which all in all led to the muff punt because Powell wasn't available. So, and again, and Kevin O'Connell, you do got to appreciate in his post-game presser, he was the first one to say, "Yep, this is on me." We got to, like, after a second half like that, you got to look at yourself first off as a head coach, and eventually he's like, "We'll make the adjustments and do what we got to do." So, again, yes, I think a big part of it was partially conservative, partially questionable play calling, partially execution as well. He said today we had some good things lined up and we just didn't execute as a team. It's a whole bunch of things it's a whole bunch of stuff that leads to, a 31-29 game when you're up 28-0. But at the end of the day, no matter what happened, as I think I can't remember who was it earlier that said divisional games are unpredictable. Mark. Who was that?
Oh, never mind. I thought
someone said divisional games are unpredictable. That's 100% true. Like I said, my biggest Darren said that. Yeah. My biggest concern was going into this game and going to Lambeau Field. Like, I know we were all pretty high on how the Vikings have been playing. If it was at home, I'd have had no concerns whatsoever. The fact that we're on the road at Lambeau, because once the momentum started to change and the crowd gets into it, that place becomes a whole different beast. So no matter everything that happened, you do need to appreciate, and this team is probably good for this team to have a little bit of adversity, fight through it. And Darnold, outside of the one interception, Darnold was amazing yesterday. And on that last drive the drive that led to the field goal, he had 2 huge throws on that drive. And then on the drive that got us down to the 4-yard line where we weren't able to convert, that throw to Justin Jefferson on the sidelines was fantastic. So coaching concerns a little bit. Overall, it is what it is. I think the team that we've seen in the first 3 games and the first half of yesterday is the team. I just think that being on the road at Lambeau Field, all that type of stuff, I think all of that contributed to a close second half. But at the end of the day, you still come away with a win, and you can't be upset about that.
Yeah. Just to go off that, that's what I was saying is that I think, for sure, going through this and the defense having to, I was just going to say they were going to allow. Actually, let me go back for a second because I guess in this game in general, I would say I believe that we are the first half team. I think we're going to be the first half team continuing going forward. I do think there was some bad luck here. I do not think the Packers really beat us that entire time. Even when they were scoring, it was like they had to use everything they had to march down that field on us. And then obviously we were messing around. We were trying to get Aaron Jones a touchdown. That interception, that shouldn't have been an interception. I do think that was because it was to Aaron Jones. And obviously there's no question that we would have wanted to kick a field goal, but we kept trying to get Aaron Jones. And I respect it. And we kept trying to get Aaron Jones a touchdown. I would say the one time during this game where I was like, okay, the Packers just fucked us up here. And that was after that play. And then they go down in 4 plays and score a touchdown. Yeah. That was the play where I was like, that was on our defense and the core and Flores probably. But I would say that was the only play where I was like, that was the one drive where they just beat us. And it wasn't us trying to be cute and all this different stuff or whatever. So I don't know. To me, the second half, it was I get it. We almost allowed to come back. I do think we weren't playing we were playing a different style of football. We're playing not to lose to some extent, in my opinion, but then also to try to get Aaron Jones a touchdown. But like I said, that one drive at the end where they just come down on you and now you give them another opportunity to even have a chance to onside kick it and get back in the game. We already were up by only 6 at one point, and the defense definitely allowed that. I do think if you're that defense, you can't be complacent. I do think going into this Jets game it's definitely a good bounce back opportunity for them. And also even going through this bye, we can't be complacent in that bye either. And I do think the Lions is a good team to face right coming out of the gate of the bye, because you can't just go and sleep on that team. So I agree with everybody in the chat when it comes to, yeah, I think this is a moment of growth. It's a moment of being humbled for this team. Like, all right, you're not invincible. But at the same time, like, we were being cute. We were doing all this stuff. Even during that second half, especially on defense, like we were making plays. We turned them over. We still turned them over. We had obviously Byron Murphy with the interception and the fumble and all that stuff. So I don't know. I just don't feel like they beat us. I think it was definitely we beat ourselves in the second half, not the
I hate that
Packers
saying.
beat us. Yeah, but we
I mean,
beat ourselves.
in a way that
I
is
do
true.
think it is though.
But,
In my opinion,
but
that's how I feel. So that's why I'm
right.
not like too worried about
Yeah.
that whole.
But at the end of the day, so
our
here's what
seasons
we're
going
all saying
forward.
here. Here's what we're all saying here. You had a big lead in the second half. In the second half, you let them come back. There's things to work because of that. There's things to work on. Coaches need to. Like, it's a good spot for players and coaches to grow and realize, like, hey, when we have this type of lead, here's how we need to adjust. You learn all this stuff about yourself. You face adversity, and yet you still come away with a win on the road in Lambeau to go to 4-0. Right. That is perfect. Like, this is exactly how it should go. Like, you want your growth moments or your moments to learn from for growth to come in a win and not in a loss. So this is exactly what you should want for a team that a game like this before a London game, before a bye week against a Jets team that struggled yesterday. You kind of want a game like this to give you all those learning lessons and things you can put on. You can watch the tape and be like, hey, here's what we got to do here, 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 and here for players and coaches. And like I said, all of this to still come away with the W.
Right.
It's exactly what what you want. It's the kicker to this whole thing. If you lose that game, then you're down on yourself. Like, God, there's so much to learn from here, and it's disappointing.
Yeah.
And it's still disappointing to an extent, but you learn so much about your team, and yet you still come away with the W. Like, that's huge.
Yeah, we kind of get like a lesson. Like, we learned our lesson, but we still got to win. Which, I don't know. Maybe
exactly.
And I feel like we did. I feel like something happened. I think it's significant enough to be like, oh God, okay, guys, like we can't be fucking around like this.
Yeah,
but
I trust Kevin O'Connell to take that and adjust because that's what he's done his whole career is when he makes mistakes, he's adjusted to it and he's moved forward. So and again, was him yesterday, trying to say, oh, I didn't take the foot off the gas. Is that just his way of trying to keep the fan base like thinking that because obviously he's had to have heard those concerns from the fans after last season. Like I obviously I think a lot of that was just
feel like
the fans. Like I promise I'm not taking my foot off the gas. It was just them making good adjustments. Like whatever you believe. At the end of the day, I trust Kevin O'Connell to fix it and adjust because the job he's done with his offense and Sam Darnold is fantastic.
Right. And whether
I'm not concerned whatsoever.
And whether he took the footer gas or not, whatever he says, I think he still kind of did to some extent. But just for him, I mean, hopefully, just know like 28 ain't enough. Like I don't care. Like get up by 40 and then start being cute. I don't care. 35 even, whatever. But after them scoring their touchdown before the half, I think that was a sign like 28 ain't good enough. Like get to 35 and then force touchdowns to Aaron Jones and stuff. Like it was too early to kind of play like that. I think.
But again, I know a lot of people didn't like it. I because you kick the field goal, then you're up by the Packers that have to score 2 touchdowns, not just a touchdown and a field goal. But I do appreciate him wanting to go for it on that 4th and 1 and end the game instead of kick the field goal and allow the Packers more time. Like I appreciate the fact that he's like, you know what, like, because that was his reasoning. Like I trust our guys. I want them to go get that 4th and 1 because if you convert, the game's over, right? So I appreciate the fact that in his mind, he's like, I want to go win this game because that's what we've all wanted from Kevin O'Connell is to say, I want to win this football game.
See,
the play didn't work. At the end of the day, the play didn't work, but he still gave it a go. Still play like that. Win.
Yeah, and still play like that. Still play like that. Just always try to win. Only try to win. Don't do the not try to lose thing. Always try to win. Gary, what's your plan of broad content this weekend? I don't really know. I don't have a plan. I don't know how everything's gonna look. How easy it is. It's gonna get to everywhere. Though my goal is to get on the post game still. Because we're going to London and then we're gonna try to go to Ireland. But then the post game is gonna be literally when we get to Ireland. So I'm hoping to get on for that post game with Casey next Monday. And then we'll be 5 hours ahead there as well. So I'm figuring it out. We'll get something though. That's my goal. That's my goal is to get something there. Hey, School State of Mind, my guy. What's up? What's up? Adam, there were multiple calls where KOC pulled back to win. Back to win equals great later. Pulled back to win. Yeah. the new point to start getting cute is 33. Yeah, the new
Mhm.
point to start getting cute is 33. Exactly. Like get over 30 at least, you know? G Sports KLC needs to learn to kick another team's ass until there's no more ass left to kick.
Yep.
Adjustments be damned. Yeah. That's what it is. Like like sportsmanship. Hey, what up, Russell?
Which I mean,
Sportsmanship, all that stuff. I get it.
which he was trying to do on the play that let on the because he was trying
Facts.
because he instead of just taking a 28-point lead to halftime, he was still throwing the ball on third down to try to pick it. So he was at that point, end of the first half, trying to keep things going. It's just
Right.
the plays didn't work out, and where the play call is questionable, probably, but like. I don't know. I think in the second half, I think is more of the question of, did he take the foot off the gas or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, basically, I guess just wrapping up the initial thoughts portion of this, we have spent a lot of time on it.
It's crazy
Just
though. 4-0, guys.
it's
At
like
the
you're
end of the day,
4-0,
we're
and
4-0. We're
there's
the
probably some
best
negative with
team in
this.
the NFL.
Right, you're 4-0. You've learned a lot, and you learned a
We
lot
whooped
about
that
your team
ass.
from
That
this
ass
game because
got whooped in that first
right
half for sure.
because that drive, because to me the drive at the end of the fourth quarter there to even get down to the point where you run that fourth down play, like I said, like Kevin O'Connell called throws and Sam Darnold threw some lasers to Justin Jefferson. So at the end of the day, the Vikings are going to be just fine. I think when it comes to power rankings time tomorrow, I think this team is the number 2 team, needs to be the number 2 team in the power rankings because Buffalo looked beatable last night on the road against a good Ravens team, sure. But I think the Vikings need to be number 2 in those power rankings because this team is legitimate. And
Yeah,
we've sounded kind of negative talking about the second half or whatever, but this team is legit. It's good. I think we've seen enough instances in these first 4 weeks to know that when things are clicking with this team, they're one of the best in football. And that Kevin O'Connell, we know he's a great offensive play caller, and we know Brian Flores is a genius on that defensive side of the ball. So this team is good. They are legit. I don't have, again, you'd love to see him try. You'd love to see him win that game by more yesterday, but I have zero concerns that this team is still the team that we thought we were coming into this game and in the first half.
And even honestly, even with the way it ended, outside of Packer fans and some Viking fans, like the media have definitely turned on thinking the Vikings are legit, which they are. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if someone puts us number 1 in power rankings because Kansas City, even though they're 4-0 and they're Kansas City, so it's fair, but they have not really been impressive. They haven't been, I don't know if they even have one single dominant win.
They're very dinged up right now. They are very hurt.
They just lost Rashee Rice, and we're only getting healthier. Addison comes back. Actually, you know what? Let's get into our winners here, and I'm going to start right with Jordan Addison. Addison comes back, and another winner, Vikings in general, because it sounds like TJ Hawkinson isn't too far off. My guess is we'll probably see him after the bye, but still,
Schefter said yesterday is looking more like the Rams or the Colts. They'll probably hold them out against Detroit still.
Okay.
At least what Schefter said yesterday.
Yeah. So we'll see what kind of goes up with that. But a lot of guys come back. But Jordan Addison, I mean, I've been saying it on this podcast literally every chance I get to say how good I think Jordan Addison is and that he is that guy. And I know he's made a couple stupid mistakes, but he deserves to have at least one more chance because he is that good. And we seen right away why he's this important to this team with just insane route running. His obviously another deep catch or another deep touchdown, what we've seen from him almost 10 times a year ago with those kind of touchdowns that end around. Like he's so important to this team. And he is, to me, like, this is the first winner to talk about. And that's why this team is just continuing to get scary and scarier because what we've done up to the Green Bay game. And as soon as we got Addison back, I mean, 28-0 at halftime. Regardless of what happened in the second half, that is still extremely impressive and shows what this team is capable of offensively. And we already know what it's capable defensively. So I think that's super important. So I guess I guess we'll just switch off on winners and losers. I didn't make graphics this time. We didn't come up collectively with a plan here because I didn't know how this was going to go with using my hotspot. But yeah, dude, I loved seeing Jordan Addison out there and doing his thing. So what do you got? I guess let's keep going. We'll keep going winners here.
Yeah.
What you got for your next winner?
I really badly want to say Sam Darnold, but I'm gonna take Darren's here, and I'm gonna go with someone.
Here, good.
Hey,
what up,
Steve?
Steve?
To be fair, I gave the Packers way more credit than Jamie did last week. So,
hey, I was right. I still feel like I was more right. Yeah,
I'm gonna look at Darren's comment here, and I am gonna point out a guy that you and I have been critical of. I think a lot of
I
the
know who
fan
you're
base
going
has
with.
been critical of. Byron Murphy, they were picking on him yesterday. He hasn't had the greatest Vikings career, but yesterday you got to give the guy his flowers. When the team needed him most, he stepped up. The interception, I mean, Harrison Smith helped on that one. Good play call by Flores. Harrison Smith coming free on the pass rush, causing Jordan Love, which, by the way, that was a terrible decision by Jordan Love. I mean, there's plenty of time left in that game, and you just chuck it up in the air like that. Terrible, terrible decision by Love off his back foot, which he was throwing a lot of yesterday. But Byron Murphy with the interception in the end zone actually caught this one. And then the next drive with that punch out to force the fumble and another recovery for our defense. Byron Murphy, as much as we pick on him, as much as the Packers picked on him yesterday, when the team needed him most, he stepped up big time, and that was solid. And I'll give an honorable mention to Shaquille Griffin as well. I mean, I saw a tweet last week that said, like, have you heard Shaquille Griffin's name mentioned in games much? You haven't, and
Barely,
that's a good
barely.
thing.
I
For a
knew he's
quarterback.
doing good.
Unless you're picking
people are
balls
saying
off,
he's
you don't
playing
want your
at
name
like
said whatsoever. And he's been doing a good job of it. So got to give the
fantastic.
corners
To the point where I was like, who is he again? I like didn't know who he was for a second.
Who's number
I
one?
totally forgot he was number one, but that's how often we have not seen him, where I was like, his hair was covering his name. I'm like confused for a second because he was also looking bigger than I thought during that too. But yeah, dude, Shaquille Griffin.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought the corners overall looked good.
Up,
I mean, Gilmore had a nice pass breakup as well. So I got to give the edge to the corners. I thought they played a really, really good game yesterday. But mainly, yeah, I'm sticking with Byron Murphy.
Yeah, he came up big on this place. I do think he was. Like, if you took those away, he would have been on the loser list. If you took those away, he would have been on the loser. They were purposely picking on him. You could tell that entire game. They just kept coming after Byron Murphy. Like, they wrote down, like, who's the weak link in that secondary, Byron Murphy. It was obvious.
But he made him pay.
To me.
He made him pay.
But he made him pay. And those were two huge ones. And the interception, that was a terrible play. But that fumble especially was so big. So at the end of the day, he wiped out every negative play he made. That's how big those two plays were. So definitely he's in the winner circles this week. Winner Vikings, loser PFF as usual. Winner Vikings, loser PFF. Hey, yeah, what PFF, up, TY? PFF was tough.
Darnold was like one of the lowest graded.
Yeah, Darnold was the lowest, and I can bring it up. I just don't know if I'm going to be here. Let me try to bring some stuff up here. I'm going to bring up these stats. And I'll see how nice it looks. But we can kind of take a peek at that. Another winner, though, Blake Cashman. Stud. He's just it's been back-to-back games. Or no, it was when was his last big one? He's been playing really good.
Against the Niners.
Yeah, it was the Niners. Yeah, dude, what a stud. But let me go through the stats real quick because we haven't done that yet. Sam Darnold, 20 for 28, 275 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. 2 sacks or whatever. Obviously, really good game. PFF ended up giving him. I mean, how does this get one of the lowest grades? Literally the lowest grade on offense.
Sam Darnold was the farthest thing from the problem with the offense yesterday. The one interception was bad, sure, but other than that, Sam Darnold was playing some really, really good football.
Dude, 100%. Aaron Jones, 22 attempts, 93 yards. Stud. Obviously, he ended up with 4 receptions, 46 yards. I wanted him to get the touchdown so bad. Unfortunately, I'm sure he'll get one at home against him, but of course, you wanted to see him do it in Lambeau.
But still,
Justin Jefferson,
40 some total yards. Can't complain about that.
Yeah, dude, fat. 100%. And that's obviously he brings a different element to this offense, and you can probably a lot of the differences with this offense compared to the last couple of years probably has a lot to do with him and what he does to this offense, but not just that. What he does to the opposing defense and knowing that they have to keep him, in check and try to anyways. Justin Jefferson, obviously super stud, 6 receptions, 85 yards with a fucking baller ass catch, fucking pushes that dude out of the way, spikes the ball, does the gritty, does the whole thing. Super stud, has that sideline catch.
And a huge block on the Addison touchdown too.
And a huge block on the Addison touchdown. And just that sideline catch, like he gets those every single time. So for them to call it out, and speaking of like bad luck, refs, like, hey, I know go complain about the refs. I mean, we had a challenge. How many plays did we challenge that got overruled?
3. Kevin O'Connell was 3 of 3 yesterday.
3 of 3 yesterday.
Should have been 4.
And then we couldn't even call a challenge on the ball placement. Like, come on, refs. You can't even tell me that I don't know, whatever. We still
As
won
I
with
said
the
during
refs.
the game, the 12th man had to rear its head sometime.
And he still couldn't beat us. Keep going here, though. Obviously, Jordan Addison threw his reception, 72 yards, and that long touchdown. Love to see it. Jalen Naylor, what a big catch he had, and it was so nice to see him in there. I looked at the snaps. He only had 11. He had less snaps than Sherfield and Powell. Obviously, I don't know if that had anything to do with the muffed punt. That was terrible. You should have just let something like that go over your head instead of kind of jumping for a punt. But it is what it is. I still really like to see what we were seeing from Jalen Naylor. I do want to say Will Riker, we got to bring him up again. 1 field goal, 33 yards. Big
Big field
moment,
goal,
comes
too.
in, still hasn't missed a kick, hit every single extra point. The kid's an absolute stud. On defense, 11 total tackles by Blake Cashman. Super stud, obviously, tackle for loss. Only a couple sacks. Patrick Jones with another one, which is I think he's tied for the lead in sacks, something like that, with 5, I believe. And maybe that changed later in the other games. Tillery with the sack. Obviously, you see all these other tackles here.
Cam Bynum with the huge pass breakup
Yeah.
early on. I think early in the second quarter.
Oh, another guy that needs, and we're talking about winners and later, but Gruger, is it Gruger Hill?
Grugier Hill.
Grugier Hill.
He's been
Dude,
amazing.
he's been coming up.
Yeah,
Another interception, 2 interceptions in back-to-back weeks. In place of Ivan Pace Jr. So that's been huge to see him step in that way. Let me cancel this. I'll get the PFF stuff. If people want to see it, I know it's been a big discussion today about like how that's looking, and I guess people are really mad at how they're grading the Vikings players, which is crazy since we're the best team in the NFL.
To me, Sam Darnold, like for give him the lowest offensive grade yesterday, Sam Darnold passed the eye test to me. I
Easily.
thought he looked really, really good.
Yeah, I don't know. It's even running. Like, how about him using his legs? What an element that brings that you did not get from Kirk Cousins at all. And he can escape the pocket too. He was escaping pressure and getting yards with his legs. Like, you love to see it. You absolutely love to see that. All right, let me get this up real quick. We'll start with defense so we can kind of look at the other thing. Grugier Hill, number 1 on the defense. Just double downing why he was a stud. 83.8, coverage grade 91.4. Byron Murphy, number 2, 74. Tackles not great. Jonathan Boulard.
I think I saw someone say he's had like 6 missed tackles in the first 4 games or something like that. Not great.
Yeah, I've seen a couple. I've seen a couple for sure, especially like towards their line of scrimmage, like on little screens and stuff. 70.5 from Bullard. Gilmore, 68. Going to the bottom 5, you got Jerry Tillery, who did get a sack though. Shaquille Griffin, even though he had a big interception. I don't know how he's way down here. Jihad Ward. I think it's just towards the end of the game, they were just getting chunk yards. And that's what's going to happen when you're up that much. We see it all the time. Jihad Ward, 48.3. Pat Jones, he had a couple really good plays. I saw him get pressures outside of just his sack there. Andrew Van Ginkel at the bottom. Going over here, you got Justin Jefferson, number 1. Christian Darrisaw, 2. Jordan Addison, 3, Aaron Jones, 4, 6, Jalen Naylor, 69.5. Ed Ingram had a good game. This whole offensive line looked fantastic pretty much the entire game. I think they let 1 big sack in. I forgot who it was from. Oh, it was I forgot who it was from. But overall, you got to love what you saw from the offensive line for the most part in this last game. Ed Ingram stepped up in the pass game for the first time this season, in my opinion. Johnny Munt in the bottom, Robert Tonyan, Blake Brandel, Brandon Powell.
We're still seeing defense on the screen right now.
You are?
Yeah.
Dang, I was going for a while on that. All right, there we go.
It's like, wait a second.
And we're still on defense. Oh, yeah, offense. Yeah, so Justin Jefferson, obviously Christian Darrisaw already went through there. Anyways, you can see everything here. We're going to the bottom. And you do see Sam Darnold here with 45.5. The lowest on our team, which doesn't make any sense. He only missed 8 throws and had 3 touchdowns and 275 yards and just 1 interception. So, yeah, that was crazy and doesn't make a lot of sense. No. Anyways, get back to this whole thing. Hey, Skull Mafia in the building, my guy. Who else? Anyone else popping in here? Let's see. Just let's go. Winter Vikings. Yeah. PFF, they've been kind of brutal. They've been brutal. They've been brutal. Okay.
But I guess, losers probably just second half execution and play calling. The punt. I mean, I thought special teams was pretty poor yesterday. Outside of Will Reichert, I mean, Ryan Wright had a couple nice punts, but that one where he kicked it from around
Was
40,
bad. That was
and I mean, so it ended up
terrible.
being like a net punt of 20 yards or something like that. They got that wasn't very good. Obviously the muff punt in certain situations there. So I thought special teams was a down yesterday to me. You can obviously got to clean some things up there, like you said. I mean, not having Powell in there, punt return hurt. But Naylor, yeah, if you lose the ball at all, or you can see it's going to be over your head, just take a step up, let it bounce. Worst case scenario, it's a touchback. Basically save a score there. So, and I mean, because if that muff doesn't happen, who knows if the second half happens, because the Packers got momentum there at the end of the first. So,
Yep.
so not a ton of losers, and really no losers from a player perspective. I wouldn't say it's mainly just execution.
That second half, you got to put on the coaches. It felt like
Mhm.
definitely play
Yep.
calling. Everything happened. They're getting cute, whatever. It is what it is. But I feel confident that it's learning experience for them, learning experience for everybody. And I don't know, man. It's crazy. Like if you take out that second half, it's just been,
and that's true.
yeah, it's been dominant. It's been honestly like we've been dominating outside of that 1 second half of football. So it's crazy. It's crazy. This team's legit, and I'm super excited. Hey, what's going on,
What's going on, Mary?
Mary? Anyway, so that's kind of our winners and losers. Went through some. Obviously, Jordan Addison was a big one. Grugier Hill, I would have definitely added him. Byron Murphy makes the list. Sam Darnold should make the list. Justin Jefferson pretty much should make every single list. That's the only reason we don't really talk about him too much. But we can. He's just every single time. I mean, Justin Jefferson's so important to this team. It's unbelievable.
Right, but I mean, obviously, like another big thing about the losers, the Packers and their fans. I'm sorry, I had to say it. I know. Because
besides Steve, we won't call. You're not a loser, Steve.
Like I forgot to see it. I forgot to mention it on Bleacher Report. We're gonna have the list. Almost came back against what you guys call a really good Vikings defense. No J.R. Alexander or Valentine. Jordan Love was coming back from an injury. Christian Watson went out early. The list of excuses is there. But
hey, let's go. What up, my guy? Yeah, but Jordan Love played like ass. Even he had some big throws at the end, but he was 3 interceptions. He had some bad throws. 2 of them were bad. 2 of them were really bad interceptions. So that's their own choice. Otherwise, they would have had Malik Willis, who would not have done any bad. I don't care how the Packer fans look at it. Allowing 28-0 in that first half is inexcusable. Doesn't matter if Drew Alexander is playing or not. You guys, they got fucked up there.
Part of you wonder was like the lack of was some of the defensive play calling and stuff. Was a lot of that because you weren't able to just focus in on one quarterback all week long, and you did have to switch it up for the fact that that we were preparing for 2 different quarterbacks. Maybe that had something to do with it. Not a lot of time to really sink into just one of them if you had to kind of spread your attention to both. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is at the very least we took the W in Lambeau. So let's do the. Oh, I haven't had the music on this whole time. Well, luckily I can do this. I'm gonna put the music on now, though. All right, there we go. All right, so this is what we got for this today. I didn't know if we were gonna be able to pull this off, but I think I'm not as fuzzy as I expected me to be. So we got game ball, biggest loser, start, sit, Sam Darnold report like every week. Should we worry about the second half collapse? Are the Vikings the NFL's best team? And week 5 predictions, not week 4 predictions. I forgot to change that part. So week 5 predictions going into the game against the Jets. Casey, you want to start this one out?
Sure. Whenever you're ready, let's roll.
All right. We'll just go back to back.
So wait, so I go, you go, or just I go down the list? Okay. Cool. All right. Ready?
Okay. 2, 1. Boom.
I want to go with 1, but I'm not going to take yours. So I am going to go back to the quarterback. I'm going Sam Darnold. 20 of 28, as we said, 275, 3 touchdowns, the 1 interception. It wasn't actually an interception, but it was a bad decision and a bad throw. He did have a couple. He did have a couple more of those, like, "Oh, Sam, what are you doing?" type throws. But at the end of the day, he made huge throws when he needed to. I was really impressed with those last couple drives. Some of the throws he made in some big time situations. Sam Darnold gets my game ball. I love him.
Go.
He's my guy.
Speaking of love, I love it. I love some Jordan Addison, dude. Obviously, you knew that's where I was going to go with
Yep.
this. Being away from this team and people not having an idea of like how important Jordan Addison is to this team. We saw it. I said it already. We saw it right out the gate with a long touchdown. Something again was one of the was his downfall coming into the draft was will he be able to beat defenses because he's too slow. Obviously he showed he could, even with the end around. All right, you're up. Biggest here, I'll start it over.
Biggest loser. I mean, I guess coaching again, like just when you're up 28-0. I mean, the special teams unit screwed you over there at the end of the first half. But yeah, I just thought you came out in the second half. You stopped them on defense right away, but I just don't think the offense was not efficient. Like that's what we've seen a lot from the Sam Darnold led offense with Kevin O'Connell is efficiency, moving the ball with efficiency. And we just didn't do that enough. And just the inability to convert on some third down. So I think biggest loser does have to be play calling and that's the short yardage offense.
Yeah, it's hard not to go with the coaching, second half coaching, and I agree. But I'll go a different direction. And even though he did have a big catch, and I do really think he can be a very productive third wide receiver, that momentum at the end of the game, you cannot have that. We're up 28-0, and they're about to kick it off to us with a couple minutes left, and you muff the punt, get them in a chance to get a touchdown without any time left on the board.
Start sit. I don't mean like start, but even when Ivan Pace gets back, you got it. I think you need to include Grugier Hill within this defense. I mean, he's played way too well to not be at least considered. Again, I'm not saying start him, but I am saying even when Ivan Pace gets back, keep him in the rotation. Sit. Who am I sitting? Even though he had a big game, probably Byron Murphy a little bit at times. I don't know. I mean, he gets picked on. He gets picked on way too often out there. But again, big when we needed him, but overall, not our best corner.
For start, I'm just going to do a start and sit, and I'm going to have to agree with you. Byron Murphy came in really big at the end of the game. He was getting picked on. He's easily been the worst in coverage and the worst in this entire secondary as far as tackling and just in coverage in general. I just want to see some Nudie. I wish Nudie would get some sort of playing time. I want to see if he can do anything better in coverage than Byron Murphy.
Okay. Sam Darnold report. If you're a football fan in general, especially a Vikings fan, and you're not over the moon with how Sam Darnold has played, I don't know what to tell you. Again, even this game, yes, it wasn't great in the second half. Yes, the fumble happened, all that type of stuff. But overall, Sam Darnold has made some big throws when he needed to. He's used his ability to move when he needs to. Sam Darnold, to me, is still leading this offense greatly. I love Sam Darnold.
I love that second time.
I was just gonna say
Sam Darnold's been obviously. He's been looking fantastic. That one interception, I do think, and Kevin O'Connell blamed it on himself. He said it was his play call, which I do understand. In my opinion, it really felt like they wanted Aaron Jones to get a touchdown so bad because in that play, he forced it to Aaron Jones. He eyed him the whole entire time. He had Justin Jefferson wide open right across on the other side of the first down there. Could have been an easy play to keep it going. So there's a lot to figure out there. But overall, Sam Darnold's the guy, but not next year still. Are the Vikings...
Should we worry about the second half collapse?
Yeah.
Yes and no. I mean, you always, when you allow a team to come back from 28-0, and there's some things to question, you should always be a little bit concerned because what you really don't want is just to snowball into next week against the Jets, right? Like, because if you end the game this way, then you go to the Jets and you get blown out. You're going to be going into the bye week with everybody saying, "Oh, these guys are frauds, whatever. Oh, they're not as good as they showed us those first few weeks." I don't believe any of that, but yes, you do need to be a little bit concerned, but also, as we've said multiple times, great learning lesson. Kevin O'Connell, Brian Flores are going to get it all straightened out. I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned in the slightest overall.
Yeah. I do think that, we're on the second half. Yeah, no, I'm not either. I do think we're trying to play too long, or playing too much. I think, what is his name? Brohim? Brohim. I can't say his name, but he had a shout out from what's his face? McAfee, thank you. See, I'm gonna go too far on this one. I do want to finish my thought on this one though. I'm stopping this.
Yeah, go ahead. You can
he got a shout out from McAfee because he pretty much said like the Vikings were just playing with their food type of situation. It just felt like it was way too early to play with their food. We had too much momentum coming into the second half to play with our food, and that's what the vibe was to me. Is we were playing with our food. We were trying. It was a combination of like trying to just not allow a comeback or try to like keep our score or whatever, and then mixing with trying to get Aaron Jones the ball. Um, I think that was just that situation. I think we're going to learn from that situation. Again, it didn't feel like it was because the Packers came back and beat us themselves. I said it before. I think it was, again, us beating ourselves more than the Packers beating us, even though you don't like that, I guess. And that's the reason why I don't worry about it. I think it's a learning situation. I think it's an easy thing to learn and to move on from. And I think that's exactly what we do. And ultimately, we are that first half team, which
Right.
is a
Yeah.
monster.
And
You don't want.
and my Yeah, and my biggest thing too is like Kevin O'Connell tells Sam Darnold, don't let a bad play or a mistake don't compound them together. Like when you do one, scrap it and move on to the next one. And I think if Kevin O'Connell is going to preach that to his quarterback, I think he's going to take that upon himself as well. To where here's what happened: we lost a big lead, we made this game tight when it shouldn't have been. So don't compound a mistake with another mistake. So I don't. I think he's going to go in the next game with a whole new game plan. I think it's going to be a whole new mindset as well. Again, I think this overall was a good thing for this team, and a couple of the players said it themselves to be humbled a little bit because they like Blake Cashman. We didn't face a ton of adversity. It's nice to be humbled a little bit, realize it can happen if you let it, and just change that mindset. Make sure something like this doesn't happen again. So I think Kevin O'Connell is going to take his own advice. I don't think he's going to compound a bad second half of football to lead you into a game against the Jets. I think he's talked way too much about this team being focused from week to week to week to let that happen.
Yeah,
like this team is very much in the now, and like he said in his post-game press conference or post-game locker room speech, which by the way I think those are gaining popularity. I love listening to him talk in the locker room.
Yeah,
just like insane. He said, he's like that first half of football is our identity. It's happened a lot this year. Remember that feeling, because basically saying that is the team we are. That second half, throw it out the window. It was a bad half of football, but that first half team, we've done it enough. This is the team we are. Also thought it was hilarious that he almost nailed Mark Wilf in the face with the football.
And then his face.
And the little look he gave to Schiffer was hilarious.
Yeah, he's like, that's why he didn't make it as a quarterback.
It wasn't a quarterback.
Oh god. My bad, anyway, KOC. I ain't trying to throw that in. All right, keep going here. Are the Vikings the NFL's best team? 30 seconds. Let's go.
Yes. Yes. As we've seen, offense, it can be efficient, explosive when they want to be. And I think we have a solid running game with Aaron Jones this year. A defense that's aggressive, swarming, and finally has the pieces that you want. And again, for 3 games and a half, we have seen what this team is consistently against the toughest talent, against the toughest stretch of our schedule. So yes, I think the Vikings should be considered, if not the one of the best.
I'll start over. Yeah, no, I agree. I think we should be the best. And I already talked about Kansas City. They're the other 4-0 team. Rashee Rice is out for the season. They just haven't really been beating anybody. And I know some people say the Ravens. I know Stephen A. Smith, he had Rex Ryan on and Shannon Sharp, and they both said the Ravens were the best team. And Stephen A., even though he was against us earlier on, came back and was like, how do you not pick the Vikings? First off, the Ravens are 2-2 and lost to the Chiefs. I forgot who else they lost to. I'm running out of time. All right, let's just finish our thoughts. They lost to the Raiders, which is embarrassing. And one thing I wanted to say, obviously, we're kind of like not following the rules on this one. But the one thing I do want to say is like, because everybody's saying like there's just isn't a dominant team out here. And I know the media and everybody's coming around to the Vikings, but there is a dominant team. The one dominant team this season has just been the Vikings. This is the closest anybody has been, and the Vikings have led the entire game against the Packers. And we've beaten 3 teams that made it to at least the second round of playoffs a year ago, including one that made it to the Super Bowl. And in my there's a good chance that we are the only we're one of the 2 4-0 teams, and there's a chance we've had the hardest schedule in these first 4 games, and we've dominated those games. So if there's any team in the NFL right now that you could say is dominating, Vikings are the only one that you could say that about, I think, in my opinion. Obviously, my opinion is kind of biased, but I don't think this is even being biased at all in this situation. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Right,
so I'm super pumped with that. Yep. The last one. Oh, I forgot to do all this. We'll do it right here. Boom. Now we're back. This will be week 5 predictions. 30 seconds. So against the Jets, let's go.
All right. So again, a lot of stretches. The 49ers haven't won here since 92. kept that streak going. Undefeated against the Texans, kept that streak going. Undefeated in London, we keep that streak going as well. I know it's Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had the Vikings number basically his whole career. I don't care about any of that. He's with a new team now. He doesn't look as, I mean, obviously he's older now, coming off the Achilles injury. Both of his legs were hurting him yesterday. I think we keep the streak going in London.
Gary, our guy, let's go.
999. Thank you, sir.
Is it acronym? Acronym for our friend Steve. Oh, acronym for our friend Steve. Skull to every Viking enemy. I love it. I love it. Hey, Steve's our guy. Thank you, Gary, dude. Obviously, always appreciate you, man. All right. So for me on this one, just please wait. Okay. Am I still here? Right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm good. Okay. It said chat was disconnected or something.
Oh.
If you didn't see that, I don't know what that's all about. All right. Week 5 predictions. Obviously, like I've said a million times, I'm going to be there. So far, I know you had your curse. You were talking about curses. Your curse was broken this year in that 49ers game too. And I was there with you. So we're on a streak right now. Mark Phil, our guy in the building, he's on his streak too. So I'm going into this game. If I'm going there, I'm feeling lucky. And I don't even have to be lucky, let's be honest. But I think we go in there and we're gonna whoop that ass because the Jets have been one of the most embarrassing teams so far. And we can just use that to go right into our London games and just like a sneak preview to this in general, especially since I won't be on here for the rest of the week. Casey will be on with for the Skull Experience with Dave, and I believe Rap's supposed to be on as well on Wednesday. So our Thursday show isn't going to be here this week, but this game in general, like obviously against Aaron Rodgers, we always got to worry about him no matter what, but that team has been not good. And out of the last 3 teams we've played, they're if this season, they'd be the second worst behind the Giants, probably, based on how they're playing.
But it's so weird.
The Packers.
What's that? That team is talented. Like on offense, they have Breece Hall, they have Braylon Allen.
It's just the Jets, bro.
They have Garrett Wilson, they have Mike Williams, they have Alan Lazard on that defense. They have Quentin Williams, they have Sauce Gardner. They have, I think, C.J. Mosley's still out. I know they lost, what's the Minnesota kid, Jalen Johnson, to injury? Not Jalen Johnson. What's his name? Jermaine Johnson?
Jermaine Johnson. Yeah, Jermaine Johnson.
They lost him, but that defense, right. And it's coached by Rob Salah, who's a really, really good defensive mind. So all of this stuff together, like I'm surprised that this team is as bad as they are. But like no matter what, though, at the end of the day, and you can hate me for saying it if you want, but Aaron Rodgers playing quarterback against the Vikings will always concern me, no matter what, just because that guy just finds ways to beat us. And I mean, maybe not as bad as the Bears, but at the end of the day, it's concerning a little bit because of the Aaron Rodgers thing. But I think after what happened in that second half, I think this team before the bye in London is going to come out motivated. I think they're going to come out hungry. And I don't care if Aaron Rodgers is there. Yes, it's concerning to me, but we're going to put the bang thing on that Packers, on that Jets team, I think.
And I do want to double down on the Jets is just an ass of an organization, and they just really are. Like that's what people. I forgot who it was today, but I saw a clip today. Luckily, like people are sending clips and stuff all the time, which is really nice. But I saw a clip today with people discussing just how bad the Jets are. Like you got Aaron Rodgers there, and you got all this talent, and they still suck. So the whole idea, and then same with Carolina, like they're just ever since Cam Newton, they've just been on the bottom of the NFL. So for people are saying like Sam Darnold, like Aaron Rodgers can't play with the Jets. Like how was Sam Darnold supposed to play the Jets? How is Sam Darnold supposed to play with Carolina? He got literally the worst shake you could have ever asked for as far as where you start your career in the NFL goes. And now he's here and he's balling out. And I do think he's just going to continue to ball out in England. Like you said, we've been undefeated there. We ball out there. The fan base is huge. I can't wait to go there and see. I'm hoping that it's just like mostly Viking fans. That's kind of what I'm expecting once we go there. So I just want to see straight Viking fans. So I'm excited to see how that goes. Gino. Yeah, exactly. Gino was a bust. And he's one of the perfect examples of a guy who was a bust to turn his career around, just like Sam Darnold's doing right now. So, and that's the main reason, like you can, like Aaron Rodgers still not good enough to beat that. Adam, my dude, let's go. Here's a scope from the best group
from Adam. Thank you, my man.
Thank you so much, dude. Hey, we appreciate you all for real, Adam. Damn, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Absolutely.
But yeah, overall, I don't know. I've wanted to go to London. I'm super excited. It's kind of worked out because this is my wife is like her dream trip has always been to London. And I was like, let's go to like other places first because that one's like kind of easier if you're gonna go overseas because everyone speaks English, da 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 da. But then this year she's just like, yeah, but what if we planned it around the Vikings game? I'm like, I don't know, I'm gonna be busy afterwards. And I'm like, but it's that. Then I didn't realize we had to buy whatever. Anyways, it worked out. She's getting her dream trip. I gotta go to watch a Vikings game. So I'm obviously really excited. Hopefully we can get there. But
yeah, right. Then my favorite trip has been Nashville, which I'm going back. We got the Airbnb, we got the game tickets. The only thing I'm missing is getting there.
Yep. And that should be an easy W.
Use TickPick. Actually, really, really good prices. We were able to get some pretty good seats.
It's called TickPick?
Yeah.
What a brilliant name.
Right, exactly. You know, it's fantastic. Like, we got like section 106, which is like low bowl and like kind of like sideline corner end zone. We got those for, I think the most expensive ticket was $240 after tax.
Hey, what up, AJ? Dang.
And we're actually all sitting kind of in a group too. And it looks like, who knows, Will Levis is out now.
I thought about using TickPick.
So that game,
I'm gonna have to check it out.
That game should be a pretty huge blow up. It's funny. So going back to the TickPick thing, a couple of the tickets we bought, there actually was no service fees or anything. There was tax. There's no tax. But there's no fees on it. Or there was fees but no tax. One of the two. Like the cheapest ones we got, there was no extra fees or anything. So those are really, which is why we figured we could spend more on the ones that were a little bit closer.
Right. No, I have to definitely check. I believe the Vikings are 6th in merch sales in Europe. Okay. I'm hoping that, I mean, it sounds like we have a huge fan base in London. I'm hoping. I'm going to find out. I know I have to figure out content. I need to I'll try to take some videos and stuff. We'll see. We'll see how ambitious I am out there. I mean, I would want to make a whole, speaking of that, actually, I was going to say a whole video thing, but the Skullfest video, I haven't showed Casey yet, but we did just get that today and it's finished. So be on the eye out for SK dropping on Twitter and then Rap's channel. We're dropping the Skullfest video on Rap's channel at some point this week. I don't know exactly when it's going to be, but it is done. So everybody should be waiting for that. It's exciting. It's a cool video, I thought, for sure. And speaking of Rap and SK, I saw it in here. I keep forgetting to bring it up. They do have the Purple Parlor tonight in a half hour, pretty much directly after this show. Everybody in here, obviously, if you haven't already, they have a great show. I'm sure that show is going to turn into an absolute powerhouse as it keeps growing. So definitely go and check them. Studs, straight studs over there for sure. But yeah, anyways, just back to this game. I guess just ending thoughts is, I guess we could do a couple predictions. I know our guy Darren he definitely wants that Will Reichard prediction in here, but we'll give a couple predictions. So I'll just say in general, I think we come out swinging. Like you said, I think we learned from the last time. We ain't trying to do that. You're pressing on the gas the entire time in England. I know the Jets have a good team personnel-wise. And they have Aaron Rodgers, like you said, no matter what, I don't think there's going to be a moment as long as he's in the NFL that we're going to go to any games against him and just automatically think we're going to crush him completely, even though I kind of do feel like that's going to happen this week. I just think we're that good. And I do think we're going to do that. I'm going to give an early score prediction. Last week I said 28-10, which was looking really fucking good until the second half. But I'll say for this one, I'm going to be a little bit less than that. I'm going to say 24. I'm going to go with 24-10 this week. I think it's going to be good overall, but I think it's going to be a little 21. I'll go 21-10, actually. I think it's going to be a little bit closer, but still pretty significant. Again, I don't think it comes down to – I'll let you do the – I was going to say I don't think it comes down to Will Reichard field goal. I'll let you do the Will Reichard prediction in general. But any predictions for me, I'm going to go with Sam Darnold on this one. I'm going to say he breaks – do I think he's going to go for 300?
He almost did it last week.
He almost did it last week. The thing is he hasn't had to yet, right? That's the hard part is we're winning so early. It's like even with Jordan Addison, he had such a good start. He only had 3 catches for 72 yards, but that's because we didn't really need him too much anymore. And it keeps happening that way. But I'm going to say, I feel like we're going to have a straight start. So I'm going to say 200 yards from Sam Darnold. 2 touchdowns in the first half in the London game. And then things will calm down in the second half, but we learn our lesson. We keep that lead. And yeah.
So the math isn't going to work out for me. Probably not, because I think the Vikings win 27-7. I'm going to say 27-17.
I like this.
And I'm going to say Will Reichard might not kick any long ones, but I think he gets out there for 3 field goals, all from 40 plus, and he nails them all perfectly. And he still doesn't have to cut his hair. We score a couple touchdowns too. That's there's my Will Reichard prediction for the week.
Let's go. Yeah, that was a stupid early prediction by me. I take full responsibility with that. I'm feeling like a 30-10. I'm liking these ones way better. 42-3. It doesn't even make sense for me because if Sam Darnold gets 200 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half, that means we're whooping ass. I'm going to go with I like Mark Fields here. I'm going to go with 30-10 here. I did see up here, though. I'm sorry. I might have to drop Will Thrill. That's what's crazy is he hits every single thing he gets an opportunity to, but we're always going down there and scoring points, or scoring touchdowns and stuff over him getting field goals. Like, it's to the point where you're like, you kind of just want to see him kick sometimes.
Yeah, well, that's another thing Packers fans had was, our kicker missed 2 field goals. Get a better kicker. Yeah. Maybe you shouldn't have cut Greg Joseph. I don't know.
You just had 6 field goals or whatever.
The MVP of the Giants. The MVP of the Giants last week.
Yeah, he was. And that's one thing that's, I would say, probably one of the most exciting things about this Vikings team, honestly, compared to any Viking team I've ever seen. I've never been so excited to see the offense on the field, to see the defense on the field. Generally, you're like, everybody wants to see offense. But when your defense is that good, you're like, it's fun to see your defense because you smother. And our special teams, specifically our kicker. Like, sometimes I'm like, let's not score a touchdown so we can see Will Thrill kick one.
I'm not every time Will goes out there, I'm not concerned in the slightest. I'm like, we're making this. Like, I don't even need to worry.
I know. And you're like excited. That's what's crazy about it. Like, there's not a moment in a Viking game where you're like bored and you don't want to see something. It's just like the whole time is just fun. I don't know. It's been great. It's been great. And we have a kicker, and that's a big one, especially kicker. Like, we've had moments where we had good defense, good offense. Those are usually our best year, 2009, 2017. And then obviously it's looking like that this year, but Ryan Longwell, we felt better with, but it wasn't like, I've never even been excited. Like, I'm excited to go see a kicker. That's what Will Reichard brings to this team, which is fucking insane. I feel like Justin Tucker had to be like the only other guy who actually gave that vibe off, which is crazy. That dude just got mad aura.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Two-Tone in the building. But everybody thinks this is going to be crazy. We see a lot of 34-17s in here. I like it. I do think, like Casey said, we turned things around in this game as far as what happened in the second. Tucker is getting watched. Yeah, that's crazy what's going on with him. I feel bad. I mean, there's no reason not to like hate on that guy. So I didn't really want to see the downfall for him. But yeah, it
happened to Vinatieri too as he got older.
Yeah.
You don't have.
But guess who it's not going to happen to? Will Reichard. Even though he's like 22 or whatever. Skull from New Mexico. Skull Mr. KCG and skull Mr. Jamie G. Skull to the Purple Family. Skull for me. And Florinda and Raquel. Skull.
Thank you.
Let's go.
Thank you for joining us from New Mexico. New Mexico Vikings fans. Vikings fans are everywhere.
I'm worried about Darnold's knee as it's not 100%.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah,
I'm not really concerned about it.
Not yet.
Get through one more game, you got a bye week. You're fine.
Did you guys see the video of Jones doing the Lambeau leap?
Yeah, great one in game, but
I know they tried. You couldn't have asked us to try any better to give this guy a touchdown, but it is what it is. He'll score one, like I said, next time.
Quick question to the chat. Let me know what you guys are thinking here. We talked about this earlier. Do you want the Lions to win, or do you want the Seahawks to win? Like, I think we talked about it a little bit before earlier. Like, it's kind of a win-win. If the Seahawks win, we're 2 games up in the division. If Detroit wins, we're the only undefeated team in the NFC. I'm curious what other people think. For me personally, yes, it'd be cool to be the only undefeated team, but I would rather see the Lions lose, and I would love to have that 2-game lead in the division. I think that sounds, especially after.
I agree.
Huge.
Especially since pretty much everybody are looking at Seahawks as like I think going into this game, a lot of for like frauds, I guess you'd say. They were saying the Steelers and the Seahawks were like the most likely frauds. So even if they go 4-0, it will kind of be like, honestly, I mean, the Chiefs, you can never call them fraud, but people are going to worry since with Rashee Rice's injury. And then as far as Seahawks go, I think if they do end up winning, people are still going to look at them like, yeah, but they don't like feel like a 4-0 team type of deal. So you got to go with wanting the Lions to lose. You always, and especially, after this game, and I was telling Casey this too, I feel like we just went through the most difficult part of this schedule. That part's done. Now it feels like the Lions might be the only team ahead of us that I have some sort of worry about. Maybe the Falcons, just because Kirk Cousins. I don't know if he's that guy to come back and have that revenge game against us. And they're playing some pretty good football, but not perfect. So I definitely think we definitely would wipe them out. But outside of that, the Lions are still a good team. Outside of them, the Rams aren't doing good at all. We should wipe them out. Cardinals they're just not there yet. Titans easy. The Bears, come on. The Bears they were the most overrated team going into the season. There's no question about that. Yeah, I don't know. I think after that Lions game, if we can beat the Lions at home, I believe, who knows what the season could end up like, because I think that's kind of the last hard test for us. So yes, I think the Lions is the team to beat. Yeah, facts.
What's Kinetic got here? Is Michigan resident wants the Lions to win whenever they don't play the Vikings? Oh boy, I'm kidding. I'm also a big proponent though in all sports. I want our rivals to be at their best when we beat them, and that's true. And that's why I was a little bit disappointed that Jair didn't play yesterday, because I would have liked to have seen that Jefferson versus Jair matchup. But
right,
for sure.
Facts. But anyways, everybody, we appreciate you being in here. Obviously, I won't be on here. Probably, I might try to be on the post game. That's my goal after the Jets game for that next following Monday. The rest of the week, I won't be here. Casey will be on with Dave, and I believe Rap's going to be on as well on Wednesday.
And who knows? Maybe I'll be ambitious on Thursday. Maybe I'll set something up, do a little solo stream. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't get the thumbnails as good as Jamie does, but we'll see if I can. We'll see if I can whip something up.
I can maybe do a thumbnail. I'll be around a little bit. I don't even know what to expect, honestly. I don't know. It's been a weird freaking handful of days going into another interesting week or whatever. But so we'll see. Hey, appreciate you, Adam. Yeah, I think it'll be good. I'm still hoping that I can go. I'm pretty sure I'm in the clear to go with all the flooding stuff, but should be by Wednesday at least.
Yeah,
I'm super excited about it, but we'll see what happens as far as content goes.
Hey, Eric, that's cool, man. Thanks for joining us pretty much every Monday and Thursday night at 6 p.m. Central Time. Join us for some fun.
Let's go.
Appreciate you, again. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. For all the people that dropped those dono super chats, we appreciate you. Everybody who's just here to have some fun.
Gary, Adam, appreciate you all.
Yep, for sure. And everybody who just decided to hop in and chat some Vikings football, we appreciate you as well, obviously.
Hey, let's go, my guy. Appreciate
it, man. Thank you so much.
We'll do, bro. Hey, it'll be good. We'll be good.
Yeah, and
I'm hoping to get some good
hopefully shots. You see a fun Vikings win in London. But yeah, as Jamie said, I will be on. I believe we're doing it on Dave's channel this time around, so I will be Skull Experience Wednesday night, I believe 7 Central. So make sure to watch us there. We'll see what I do on Thursday, but hopefully we're here next Monday talking about another Vikings win. And I think we will. I think we'll be talking about a 5-0 Vikings team headed into the bye.
Yep. And I'll let you all know if the rumors are true that the English can drink. So we'll see after that Vikings game. We'll see if it holds up. I'm hoping we see pubs every corner and people get crazy out there. I don't know. I don't know if they can get Skull Fest level, but we'll find out.
Hell yeah. But again, everybody, thanks so much for watching. See you guys next time right here on the GG Sports Podcast.
Skull Vikes.